Yeah, nice. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Academy of Tone number 66 with special guest Oliver Hartmann.
Again.
Yeah.
Again and again.
And there's a good reason for it. Well, first we had a leftover from our last episode with the nice interview with Matthias Schindehütte. And we had no time, so today it's on our list, and I hope we can do it.
I promised him, so
okay, we have to do it.
We better should.
Yeah. The other thing is, Olli is also an expert when it comes to Pink Floyd stuff because he plays in the band Echoes. But before we talk about all the Pink Floyd stuff, what are you currently doing?
Currently, I'm on a tour with my band Hartmann, which is normally an electric modern rock, modern hard rock band, yes, but due to Corona and all that happened during last year, we decided to size it all down, to shrink it down, to just an acoustic 4-piece band, and to promote our new album that came out last year in April. The name was 15 Pearls and Gems, our 15th anniversary album, to promote that and to go on tour with it, just with an acoustic lineup.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure to play with your drummer last Saturday.
Yeah, right.
And Mr. Kuhlmann, and he's like a real loud rock drummer.
He is, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why we told him to play cajon during these acoustic sessions. Yeah.
So how
and some jingling-a-ling. And
how is he doing in the acoustic set then? I mean,
absolutely perfect.
No bleeding hands.
No, he's suffering a bit, but and moaning a bit, but it's okay. He's playing a cajon with a foot pedal as a bass drum, and still using his hands and having some shakers and chimes and stuff like that. Perfectly working.
Yeah, I think we have a little clip about this project.
Okay.
Let's see that clip first. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Hartmann on tour with this acoustic set now.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of shows to come, right?
Yes, we just started 2 weeks ago and played our second show this weekend. And so from next weekend on, it's tomorrow. No, 2 days. Still 2 days. Yeah, we have a lot of gigs during the end of July and August going through until mid of September.
Okay.
Now just only Germany till now, but now we just confirmed a show in Switzerland, and so we have still 10 or 11 shows to come until mid of September.
Okay, so this
it's a must-see.
Absolutely. I mean, Olli is a killer guitar player and a killer singer, and the songs.
They say so. I don't know.
No, this is all good. We know each other we just found out 1992 maybe.
I just posted a picture as a throwback Thursday thing on Facebook, where I played this first Jörg Tandler Strat, where he was still named Morgan guitars. When I played that, still baby blue. Later on, I turned it into white, and found a picture of that. And that's where we first met, where you were working for another company. And,
and we had our mutual friend Jörg Tandler, who is quite a character when it comes to luthiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have a bunch of his guitars. I have actually a very nice nylon string acoustic guitar. that I played on. One day I have to show you my other side. When I was a session player, the Rika Ding Dang song or something like this, which was a #1 in German Bambaleo charts. You know, some very bullshitty summer hit.
But I'm pretty sure that when I hear it, I know it. Yeah, Rika Ding Dang song.
Yeah, on a Tandler
I have
guitar.
to Google that.
Yeah, on a Tandler guitar, you know, acoustic, and I have a very nice maple neck Strat from him, 50 style. Anyway, so this was the first time we kind of met.
The funny side is that this guitar that was shown on this picture, you will find it on Facebook. This was really the #1 he built for Morgan guitars. So when you screw up the neck, you see this #1. It's really funny.
Wow,
and it's really a good one.
Yeah.
Really good
No,
one.
he makes great guitars. So
Absolutely.
I mean, highly respect his work, and he knows what he's doing. Yeah, but today's topic is Pink Floyd, David Gilmour. And when we talk about Gilmour, I mean, he is such a huge character in the world because he's kind of Mr. Art Rock. I mean, art rock, what is art rock? I had to learn about this. Oops, hold this for a second. When I was doing a tutorial DVD on different styles, and this is Pink Floyd, David Gilmour Art Rock. And by the way, this was the backing track from this DVD that I composed a few years back, maybe.
You can still get it on eBay for lots of money.
Yeah, sure, maybe €5, maybe not. But it's pretty good stuff. The point about David Gilmour is, okay, sorry guys, I have to tell you a little story about this. When I was shooting the DVD here, I was in the studio, and of course, you know, we were cutting several songs and stuff, and it got late, and I improvised a lot, so I had no script and nothing. And I was in the middle of shooting the video, and I explained, you know, David, I mean, he has such an unmistakable style. I mean, he plays like... slow vibrato. And then, the whole thing is in German. And I said, you know, David hat einen sehr kleinen und hat ihn immer in der Hand.
Okay,
Das kommt besonders gut, wenn die Töne findet. So, in English, David has a small one always in his hand, ready for the tremolo. And,
you never know.
And the next noise, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just improvising, saying that. Of course, I meant the whammy bar, and the whole camera crew started to, you know, like that. I mean, it's like, okay, what did I just say? You know? So I
That's
wish,
a good one.
Yeah, I wish I had this as an outtake one day. So this was a part of this video series, but that's my little story here. The other connection I do have with, you know, Sir Gilmour is I met him at the Fender Award when I was awarded the Strat King of Europe in 2004. And he actually showed me his whole rig. I saw the pedal board, everything. We show that later, but I had the pleasure to hang out with him for about an hour.
You're a lucky guy.
Yeah.
I didn't have the chance so far.
And it's, I mean, it's like the story was amazing. I came there, and the Fender guys in UK, they didn't know what was up with me, if I should play, and Gary Moore was there, and Brian May from Queen was there. They were all there backstage, you know, the cream de la cream of them all, you know. And I was kind of the young guy, and I said, this is Thomas, he won the prize. Oh, and you know, everybody kind of excited, you know, preparing for the gig in Wembley Arena. And then there was this very, very moment where the door opened and it was quiet. And it was a guy with a smile on his face in slow-mo walked into the room, you know, just like Crazy Diamond, you know, unbelievable. The guy was, and he was so relaxed, and he was, hi, nice, I'm David, you know, and he was greeting everybody in the room, you know, from his famous colleagues and rock stars, Gary Moore, to me in the end. So, and then I was introduced from the Fender guys there, and then I told him, like, I've seen you live at Hockenheim in Germany, you know, this Motordrome near Mannheim. And he actually, he remembered the day, he remembered the weather, he remembered everything. And I said, man, this guy, he's still awake, like unbelievable. I mean, I was impressed. I was deeply impressed. And then I had, of course, I was lucky to tell him the story. I played the same venue in front of 120,000 people, just like you, with a band called Tic Tac Toe, the German Spice Girls. You know, we were opening up for Michael Jackson. Oh, so I said, okay, well. And then he came, are you interested in my rig and my gear? Because I told him that I was into amplifiers and stuff. So he showed me his 2 pedal boards and the whole 9 yards, which was so cool. And then there was like, we had to kill time because, you know, there were other things going on backstage. And so we were walking around in this empty hall. And this is where we have taken this picture, you know. And then, we just talking about life, and this was so cool.
The double fridge.
Yeah, and then, you know, 5 minutes later, Hank Marvin came in, and I told him about. I've been to Australia. And he said, I live there now, and blah blah blah, and such a great evening. That's it was for me. So that's all my background, personal background with the David Gilmour, and of course I've been a Pink Floyd fan even before I played the guitar. So my first stuff was kind of I listened to music of Pink Floyd on my stereo system. So this was
As a kid.
As a kid, yeah. So anyway, and you are the expert of playing that music on stage. Since
Let's say I'm doing it. I don't know if I'm the expert, but I'm doing it. Yeah.
But you do it for quite a long time.
That's right. Yeah, for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, 2002. You started with the band Echoes.
Right.
And you played all over the world, or where did you play?
Let's say we started as a small regional band in around Aschaffenburg, the area of Frankfurt, and during the years, the whole project grew and got bigger. So we started to play whole Germany, and nowadays we play Italy, we play a tour in Russia. Maybe not in the end of this year because they still have high Corona
COVID
numbers, but maybe again next year. We now have special guests here there as Midjure. We already had him with us in Russia on a tour.
Cool.
And did a DVD. We played that song.
Yeah.
Because the promoter wanted him as a special guest, and of course we played this Vienna song because it was fitting to the Pink Floyd music somehow. Yeah.
Well, it's great music anyhow. I love that song too of Midjure. I think we have a little clip of that band project too.
Yeah, we did an acoustic DVD back in 2014. Which was also in the media control charts in Germany on rank 20, I think, which was
pretty good,
really unexpected. But then in 2018 we did what we normally do as an electric band with big lights, big stage, and guests. So we had again Midjure on stage. We had Michael Sadler of Saga.
Yeah, the singer.
Yeah, we had Geoff Tate of Queensryche, who's also my colleague in Avantasia. And we had the Liod player of Lazuli, a French band, who did a great job.
Lazuli,
on
I know,
Hopes,
yeah.
Playing the slide solo on his Liod
with
one hand, so pretty amazing.
Yeah, they opened up for Saga last year here in Saarbrücken. I met them.
Great band.
Great band, French guys. Yeah. Okay, can we see that little trailer
of course.
Yeah, killer.
donc c'était pour moi le plus évident des solos de Gilmour.
Absolute ball playing with these guys. They are consummate musicians. They love what they do.
Hey you! Now the child is grown, the dream is gone.
Got along immediately. It was like one big happy family. It was great. Great musicians in the band. I thought the show was stunning.
Comfortably now.
BluBOX was one of my major influences growing up. And then to play music with them too, that was really a treat.
Yeah, so echoes. Let us dive into the technical stuff, because David Gilmour has several iconic tones.
Yeah.
I mean, if we listen to guitar players, we know there's an Eddie Van Halen tone, the brown sound. There's maybe a Stevie Ray Vaughan sound. There's a B.B. King tone, and so on.
He's got several tones,
Yeah.
so to say.
Yeah, and in the intro song, we used something that is known as also Gilmourish. And it's clean, using compressors. Well, today we have the big luck to have like two different guitars, but we are trying to do similar things. So what I was using, I'd like to show you, is my yellow comp. I put this on the amp 1 because
The mellow yellow.
the mellow yellow. My yellow is so mellow. Diamond comp, so bypass. So the tone is the compressor. And
It's a very good compressor.
I love it. Yeah, I have it on my board as
It
well.
has a very nice attack.
Yeah.
Playing with the fingers.
I love it too, because it is so musical. There's some compressors out there that are pretty analytical or too intense in a way. But as you can see, this is maximum on compression. And so that is, yeah, I use the EQ in the middle, so I have just tons of compression on it. Maybe
But
not.
it's not tons. It's still very, very musical and still dynamic.
Yeah. So this was my solution, and I actually use the smaller version of this compressor on my big pedal board.
Ah, there's a smaller version.
Yeah,
I
by
gotta
now.
have it. I gotta have it.
Well, I mean, these days everything needs to be small and compact, and it sounds the same basically.
Yeah.
So that's available now. So this was my recipe for that tone. What did you use? First, you have a
Of course, now I have a totally different guitar because I
Yeah.
have a Les Paul. We get back to that later on. That he also used Les Pauls here and there for iconic sounds.
Yep.
But my recipe today is how to get Pink Floydish sounds or Gilmourish sounds, but with a Les Paul. And as you did the same, I take a clean sound, standard clean sound. With a little compression. I use this Harlow by Bogner, also a very good pedal, which also does a very musical compression. I think as you can hear, this is a Les Paul, of course, with the P90, which are single coils in the end, but still sound different, like a normal
Strat,
or Strat.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of when it comes to Pink Floyd, or in general, when it comes to guitar players, the most important thing is how you play and how you listen to the sound that somebody is doing, and to adapt that and to trying to not to copy, but to adapt that and to get this tone.
In the notes for my last episode, I have found this thing is think before you play.
I just saw it before we started.
So
it's right. It's
get your mindset towards what you like to play, and don't play your Elvin Lee licks when you play Pink Floyd.
Yeah, better not.
Yeah. So I mean, what is the Pink Floyd mindset? It's like, don't use too much technique. It's like...
Yeah, it's a very relaxed, slow, bluesy playing in the end. It's bluesy playing. Even if it's like, let's say, progressive rock, the music, but the playing is always pentatonic. Very slow and easy. Some overbands here and there. And always long notes. To David Gilmour or Pink Floyd, whatever he played, he never really played something fast. I sometimes add something to solos
because this is your character. This is you. This is you.
Yeah, but it's not my thing to copy it 100%. It wouldn't make sense for me. But
nobody is the winner when you try to be somebody else. The original always.
I can understand it that people maybe like it, but as an artist, as a musician. When I look at things like copied 100%, each overtone, everything else, I say like, but it's for me as an artist, it's nothing really special or artful. Yeah, if somebody adds his personal note in a good way, that's what I like.
Yeah, same here. And I believe that all the big artists, including Gilmour, was never playing the same notes. He was playing the riffs and the idea and the theme and everything, but they all improvise. I mean, if you are a jazz singer like Amy Winehouse, I mean, she was never singing the vocal line exactly with the same. And then
they just recorded one or two versions, which everybody knows.
Yeah, and then you believe this is the only.
It was just a moment.
Yeah, and you believe this is the only way it would be real, and it's not. It's like. Real artists, they have always some variations going on.
I mean, there are, of course, also for Pink Floyd, solos that also David Gilmour always plays the same, or mainly the same.
Yeah.
He sometimes changed it from tour to tour a little bit, but the iconic themes and things, they stay the same.
Yeah. Okay. When it's part of a composition.
Yeah. But in the earlier days, when you look back in the 70s and stuff, they were still jamming.
Yeah, sure. And this is where they get fresh ideas and evolve their music. Okay, 70s is a good hint. So maybe we start with some early sounds of David Gilmour. I mean, when you look back at the history in the band, you can see that David was probably one of the first guys who was using pedals a lot and combining everything available. And what we just played with the compressors, I believe he didn't even use an amp. He was going straight into the mixing console in the studio.
He did.
Yeah. So, if that's kind of weird because as electric guitar players, we grew up on amps, but Pink Floyd was an experimental group, so whatever was the best
For the song, they took it.
yeah, and of course they were in the studio and they recorded there and they found that kind of nice clean tone, even without an amp, but with tons of compressions. Maybe they had an whatever, what is the number, 1176 Uri compressor, or do you know?
Yeah.
That's a classic in every studio back in those days.
The thing we played, this Shine on a Crazy Diamond, this intro, I'm still not sure if you really used an amplifier or if it was just directly into the desk with a compressor, because it has so much, this typical tone of a, let's say, direct DI sound.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sure.
Yeah. I think it might be direct. If you know better, put it in the comments.
How to say? Of course, it makes sense to take care about the equipment, what people use and why they used it, to understand the sound. But in the end, the most important thing is to take your equipment and the way you play, and to adapt this to make it fit.
Yeah, and find your way to get the result. So in my case, it
As
was.
You said you played with a Stratocaster. I now play with a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Even if it's like not fitting.
Yeah.
But it's working.
It works. Yeah. And here, what I've clean channel of the amp, a little bit boost for the extra sparkle. This is what I switch it off. Sounds also cool. I need a bit more volume. But I put into.
You get more of this typical tube amp.
Yeah.
Fine overdrive.
Yeah. And I simply like it, and I think whatever is good is good.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% religious about stuff,
No, if you like Bitburger is the perfect beer for you. If you don't like it, drink it too.
Yeah, cheers. Yes. Yeah, this is our beer. It's actually not our local beer, but it's from the area. Anyway, this is where the floods have been in the Eifel. This is where so we drink on the heavy shit that happens there, so maybe that helps. Anyway, okay, going back to the effects of the early days. Of course, David was using all the gear that was available to him, and there were kind of a few things that are maybe a bit bizarre, but this one here is a big muff. And
this is the number one thing for his typical solo sound in the 70s. Yeah.
Okay, so let's check that out. So I plug in, let me see, the Strat goes into input. And let's get rid of the diamond comb. Thank you. And this could be a big muff. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's a typical sound that they used on time. The song.
Yeah.
Also money. Yeah. Typical big muff sound.
Ba-da-da. Okay. Talking about money, a little. Okay, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. It's a 5/4. Boom, ba da 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 wum, da da da. It's the with one more. Do you know? Is it a 5/4 or?
It's a 7/4.
Oh, 7/4. Okay, you know it better.
But a bass player sometimes says it's a 5/4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2.
Okay, whatever. It's an odd number. I don't play that song, but it's like if.
But he still believes it's a 5/4.
That's a typical bass player thing, you know. If they believe something,
He will kill me tomorrow.
no. The good. If they believe in something, let them believe.
Leave 'em?
Yeah, leave them. It's all good. It's all good. Why? Warum schlafende Hundewecke? Why waking up sleeping dogs? Don't do that. No. Bass players are nice people, you know. If they think it's a 5/4 or whatever, it's all good. And you know, it's like. I had a conversation with a bass player and said, you know, you can't play that F sharp here because it's like a major scale. We go, what's wrong here? I play bass.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
That's something different. It's so deep, so low, so you can play
Yeah.
whatever you want.
But if somebody plays bass, what about harmonies? I play bass. What are you asking? What are you talking about? I play the bass. Okay, 5/4, 7/4, whatever. Who cares? So this was money. Money is in B minor, right? Or what?
Yeah.
Here comes an effect that is typical on money. It's the tremolo. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, faster, go faster.
That's the way I do it live.
Sure. Let me see if this works because this is a tune pedal. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me see if I can fire this up. It's a flip VTX. And this is either now working or killing it. It's working, hopefully. It's a tube-driven tremolo. I don't think David Gilmour used it, but I know that Joe Bonamassa used it after I bought it. So I bought it cheap, now it's expensive. Okay, let me see how we can do a nice tremolo sound with this. I use it more for like a slower tremolo.
But a nice wave.
Yeah.
Even faster. It's for very narrow.
Anyway, it's a nice.
Good sounding.
Yeah, I like it.
Also, very iconic sound. This typical.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, what is the message here? It's not one effect only. It's basically every effect available to him, but he kind of succeeded in getting sounds that we all remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it and
they were they were experimenting and trying on this in the studio for months.
Yeah.
Trying out everything and
Yeah, so killer. So we had the tremolo effect. Then we have another thing, which is the vibes. Here's a nice Deja vibe. Out. In. Come on, and power. I hope this works too. And it doesn't. Fucking sucker, shitty.
Doesn't work.
Okay, wait a minute. I have another power supply here. Let's try this one. Well, I hate if companies do their own shit in a way that nobody can.
Should I play something in between?
Yeah, you can. Wait a minute. It's an AC power supply anyhow. Then forget about this one. My life wouldn't be possible without another vibe, and this has a 9-volt DC. DC, yes. So let's see if that fits. And and it does fit. Yes. Okay. So from this vibe to the next vibe, and this is my input. And by the way, I modified this beautiful Roger Meyer because there is like one transistor too many in the whatever circuit. If you get this out of the circuit, it sounds like nothing or better. Quite interesting. Let me see what, I've done stuff to these pedals. What
Should I
is
play
wrong?
something like
No, I'm
okay. Yeah. The classical mistake.
the classic mistake. In and output.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So we put it on the chorus because this is the uni vibe set. The other one, where it goes like
That's a typical Univibe sound.
you can play something over it. Okay, so here's this was the uni vibe, or in this case the Roger Meyer voodoo vibe.
Yeah, if you want to have these sounds 100%, then this is the pedal to get.
Yeah, it's one of the pedals. I'm such a freak when it comes to vibes. I show you a few others here on the floor, just for the fun of it. This is a Roto vibe by Jim Dunlop pedals, and this has the speed controlled built in. You know, the pedal controls the speed of the wobble effect or whatever, modulation, and
Which is a good idea.
The pedal sounds cool too, but I prefer the other tools for the sound. I don't know. There's some rumble magic going on with the other pedals.
Yeah, the Voodoo Vibe and the Deja Vibe are really the number one pedals. You can also how to say, reach like to 80% of the same sound with a good phaser, but it's still something different.
Yeah. Talking phaser, we are in phase 90 territory.
Yeah.
So what is your? I mean, we talk about Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and there is a
Originally, as far as I know, a phase 90.
Yeah.
But to be honest, on the live setup, I use a small stone because the small stone has got something like in between a normal phaser the typical phase sound you get from this MXR, and it also has something a little bit of these vibes, this typical wave of a small stone. I like it very much, but it's of course you can take or get these sounds also very close with a phaser, like this typical. Let's use the compressor. Very slow phaser. The Phase 95 is a pretty good pedal when it comes to small pedals, which is a good compromise to get this typical Phase 90 sounds plus the script logo sound, which is a little different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to get my good old small stone working. Maybe it works. I like the wow in the mid-range.
That's why I still take it in the rack.
Yeah, and that's the one that I have on my big pedal board.
And this wave has still got something, this very fast up and down, like a vibe. A little bit of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm using that even for my Hendrix stuff.
Yeah.
So I use it as a vibe and a phaser, and it's all good.
It works.
Or sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a. Well.
Works.
Yeah, this is like with many stages, and this has this dramatic filtering effect, and this is only 4 stage, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
Which is, how to say, enough.
It's enough to do this effect. Yeah. So this was the phaser, and of course David used flanger as well.
Yes,
in
as
the
far
80s.
as I know, on Run Like Hell, for example, typical flanger sound.
And then now we're talking delay.
Delays, yeah. In-time delays, dotted delays, yeah.
Okay, delays. Let me show you.
Not delays.
No, delays. I show you.
Delays.
I show you another. Oops! Fucking hell! I'm getting caught in cables. By the way, this is my Dynacomp compressor for those.
Also a good solution.
Also a good solution besides the diamond. Okay, diamond. Hey, actually, that all sounds very similar name-wise. Anyway, let's check out a good old DD2. I hope this one still works. I have one that is not working, and it might be this one. No, it works. Oh, good. It's so here I'm a bit crazy about DD2s because the DD2 can be modded, like we can see on the one here on the pedal board. I put in this extra switch where I can deduct the high in the repeat signal. That's the soft version with a filtering, and this is the original version. So the repeats are unfiltered, and this is like high cut. So every repeat is a little bit dampened. So I switch off this delay, and now I switch on simply put this on top. So we can see, okay, I put one delay on top of the other one, and the first one is off, and the second one should be on now. Okay. Yeah, wait, let's see, it's okay. So, switch on. And then it's a bit too slow. It's so cool, so effective, and
I mean, it was a phaser and everything.
Yeah, of course. And I'm learning on the fly. I've never played that. I mean, it's like that's the beauty of Gilmour. It is my first album was called The Beauty of Simplicity, and basically this is what he's doing. He's Mr. Down to the point with simple stuff. I mean,
great melodies. And
everything it needs. You know, nothing's flashy, but it sounds killer. You can do only different, but not better in a way.
Yeah, better is anyway. Better is something. What is better when it comes to art? But he's unique. Yeah.
Some mobile phone is dialing a number.
Is that me?
No. Well, it could be me. Yeah, but again, this is another sound. Of course, The Edge is using this. Was he before David doing this, or was he?
I think it was David Gilmour who really, invented this kind of
delay.
typical dotted delay thing.
Another iconic tone he invented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great guy. So we have this delay. What else is on the floor? I see. I see so many pedals here. What about?
I'm in the Pink Floyd band. I don't have that many.
Well, it's all sitting here on the floor. I wonder if I can use this one here.
But when talking about not having that many pedals, of course I have many pedals at home. But when it comes to a live situation, of course I have a rack installed with a few pedals. There's a small stone and some other chorus pedals and something else. But I'm not always using, let's say, the original stuff that David Gilmour uses. For example, I have a big muff at home.
Yeah.
But it's at home. So in the rack is something different. That is, of course, not sounding typically like a big muff.
Yeah.
But I can work with this sound, and it's for me it's okay.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. If you feel good, you make the music sound good. And so this is what you should use. I see another AC power supply for the whammy. He used the whammy pedal on some later albums. maybe on the division bell.
Could be. Yeah.
And then on the solo record, the blue one, what is it called? The C, one.
A sea of. Oh my God.
His whatever 2000 release.
The latest one was Rattle That Hum.
And before that, it was a quiet album with a blue cover. And there's tons of the whammy pedal, Anyway, so he used that sound a lot and got a lot of out of that pedal as well.
Okay.
So what I believe he's good at is he's a great cook. You give him some ingredients and he cooks a nice meal with it.
Yeah.
And it ends up to be a mega thing for Pink Floyd or his solo stuff.
The same when it comes to steel guitars, for example. He used steel guitars on songs like One of These Days that we also play live. He used it on High Hopes.
Yeah.
And he's a very good player, very tasty, good player. And when I do it live, I have a steel guitar at home, but it's also at home. so I normally do with a slide. It doesn't sound exactly the same as with a good steel guitar, but it's working. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a challenge.
Yeah. Let me check if I see any of the comments here. I see Replex pedal.
Yeah.
Okay, Replex is the one that I designed with using Kettler, the tube Echoplex kind of copy, which I still love a lot. For delay, I prefer the Replex. Somebody says William Lee. Poo Ninja gives thumbs up. Another brick in the wall, part 1. Okay. Tube driver. Okay, here comes the Chandler tube driver. Oh man, it's next room. No, it's upstairs. On my live rig.
Very good pedal.
Yeah. And I also have the rack mount version, which is now with my technician for the MX. Because I want to check if the MX can do tube pedals as well, and it will.
On an island, there we have it.
On an island, thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
On an island, that was the one.
We're getting old.
Yeah, we're getting old. But
What was my name?
Cheers, Ollie. The point here is tube driver. What's so special about a tube driver? Eric Johnson is another great name using the Chandler tube driver. And in the Eric Johnson world, it's the magic combination of the tube driver in front of an overdriven Marshall. And
It's old 50 watts.
yeah. And that's a magic combination that I prefer, not prefer, which I like a lot myself too. That's why I have
It's very musical.
that pedal on my pedal board upstairs. You've seen that in episode, episodes. Here is the thing, guys. I just wanted to make a comment where you can see my pedal board. And by now we have 66 episodes. Nobody doesn't even know where my pedal board episode was. I don't even have that. Guys, here's the deal. If you are a big fan of this Academy of Tone, we want some nerds that watch the Academy of Tone and make like a little directory, what you can find inside each episode. I know 66 episodes by the end of the day are way too many for one guy. So if you would like to help us in a way, please send us an email. And the email is youtube@bluguitar.com. And we get directly in contact with you guys. If you have some time because you are on vacation, you have nothing to do but to watch these, I will write you something that you can do for us. And we will reward you. If you do 20 episodes, I give you an MP1, the one that you don't have. That's a lot. Anyway, because I don't have the time to watch all my fucking 66 episodes. And maybe you neither. But if we kind of collaborate on the whole thing together, we could get a directory that we all can benefit from. And I will put it on the opposite wall of this video studio. And when I'm talking about my pedalboard, I could name you the episode to look after this. And this would be super helpful for me and for you guys. So if you are willing to spend some time watching Academy of Tone, send me an email and we will talk, whatever. If you only do 1 episode, you get a T-shirt. If you do 10, we talk about whatever. If you do 20, maybe an amp. Okay, I'm tough, but I tell you, it's a lot because each episode is nearly 2 hours, and you need to be on vacation. But now is summer. Now is time. Okay.
In the summertime.
Yeah, and the living is easy. Okay, what are the other questions here? On an island, yeah.
EMG hamburger, okay, timestamp playlist.
Talking about EMGs, I had a Gilmour EMG signature set for Strats because one of the bosses of EMG was a fan of mine, listening to the Electric Gallery album and calling me 4 o'clock in the morning German time, being outside in the garden and listen, yeah man, your sound's so great, it's so up, 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 up. And somewhere in the United States it was like, maybe 9 in the evening, and they had a couple of beers, and they didn't realize that they were calling Germany, but it was totally cool. So I got up, oh yeah, it's cool, and then he sent me one of these EMG noiseless. I think it's noiseless. Active.
Noiseless.
Yeah. Pickup sets. Gilmour. And this is very good, but for me personally, I have to say, I still like these vintage old Strat pickups for whatever messy aliveness they have.
I know what you mean. I have an Eric Clapton signature Stratocaster that has also got these noiseless pickups. They are working pretty good. It's really good. They have a little more output. So when you put down the volume control to like 8 or 7, then you come pretty close to an old vintage single coil. But it's still something different.
Yeah.
But to get this, to get this typical tone of David Gilmour, especially from the 80s to later, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
And of course, I mean, he used all kind of different guitars in the studio.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe we are talking about the famous Another Brick in the Wall solo now.
Oh yeah.
Because we all think what a magic great tone that is, which is absolutely stunning to me.
Absolutely.
When I listen to this thing in the car, I have a few options. One is I go faster. The second option is I have to stop and listen to
As you see, it's iconic.
Yeah.
That's, for example, a solo I never change. I play it note for note.
Yeah, because it's so cool. I have to admit I like it also. And the story goes that this solo has been recorded directly to tape on a console without an amplifier. And
I'm not sure if that's true, but it could be. Could be.
The story I heard, maybe it's wrong. Next time I meet David, I'm sure I can ask
I just
him.
wanted to say that you should have asked him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's definitely a question.
But it's not sure that he will tell you the truth.
Yeah, but what I heard in this rumor stories is that he was recording direct with a compressor and then reamped the whole thing on a Boogie Mark 1.
This could be, yeah.
So I think in the final sound there is an amp involved in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The question is, was it played directly with an amp and then mixed, or was it like the other way around?
We never know. Maybe, except
Maybe
you will
he
meet
knows.
him again. And
Or
we
maybe he
can
does.
write him on Facebook. You never know.
See.
The only thing that I know is because when everybody is looking at David Gilmour, is always expecting Stratocasters. Older models as he used in the 70s, this typical black maple neck 50s Stratocaster, which he used until mid 70s. Then he started to use other Stratocasters with EMGs and many other things. But this typical solo of Another Brick in the Wall, as far as I know, is recorded with this unfortunately is not a 56 Les Paul Gold Top.
But
It's a 70s Les Paul Gold Top, a deluxe that was originally equipped with the mini humbuckers.
Right.
Now, I changed them to P90, and this is the info that I have that he used. This is the way this guitar looked before. Yeah.
So, before and after.
Before and after, yeah.
Yeah, so this is my mini humbucker Les Paul Deluxe, and now we can listen to that sound.
So let us say this is a good alternative to get one of these guitars because they're still, let's say, payable, still affordable, and just take some good P90s and you get that typical.
Another brick in the wall tone.
Yeah, not only that, but yeah, of course this one. Yeah.
So, can you let me try? I try mine. You play. You try yours. I do the Strat.
One more thing before we play is when I play live, I don't play it on this guitar. I play it on an almost Stratocaster, and it really depends on your, let's say, on your strings and the height of your strings to get these overbends. And it's of course way easier to do this on a short scale guitar without losing the sustain and everything than with the Stratocaster.
Okay. I'll try my tone.
That's how it goes.
Okay.
Let's try to play it.
Okay, you play the solo first, and I do the next round. And
Okay.
Compare. I lost it because I don't know
yeah.
how the notes go, but the beginning was still there. Okay, you see two guitars and similar results, and of course the Holy Grail original. I think you have to get that typical Les Paul. I had a 55 all gold P90s Les Paul the other day in my hand. The other day means last year.
Lucky guy.
And I was so tempted to buy it. I tell you, this guitar was so good. There's on Instagram there is a little snippet from Hamburg. Must have been like September 2020, and it was still affordable. But I don't have the money. If I had, I would have bought the guitar because it was like, fuck, man, this guitar talks.
Yeah, the Holy Grail. Yeah. It sometimes happens.
Some guitars simply have it. And maybe he has one of those, and then, he had a magic moment, and he did another iconic Gilmour tone. Killer. Hey, let's see if we have any more questions here.
More gain.
More again.
Ollie's too silent.
Somebody tells us Academy of Tone episode 7 is my big pedalboard. That's long ago. This is 59 episodes ago.
And the winner is...
Yeah. If you are, William, if you are the guy that wants to join in for the work, write that email, okay? What is this? There are photos on Instagram recently where he uses them again. Well, I don't know what them means.
That's a good question. There's somebody asking if I, because I normally play a Mesa Boogie, an Electrodyne, live on stage for the Pink Floyd tribute,
right?
Which is, how to say, sound-wise, a mixture of a Marshall sounding amp, but way more mellow,
mild, and
mild.
Round,
A great working amplifier, especially for Stratocasters.
Yeah.
Great sounding. And the question was if I use something different. I also used the M1. I was trying to send you pictures, but I didn't find them. But I know I posted them on Facebook because on the latest tours that we had in Russia, playing in Moscow, I used the M1 because I simply didn't like to carry all that stuff on the plane. And then the M1, if you tweak some channels here and there, has great possibilities to reach these kind of tones.
Yeah.
And it was really impressive for me how easy it was to program the MIDI section. Because I just had, before the first show, I had like 2 hours for everything.
Yeah.
And you just explained me some things here and there, and I was just on the rack. And because, of course, for Pink Floyd, I have, I don't know, like 35 presets with time delays, clean sounds, booster, non-booster, and all this. So I had to program all this right before the show because the days before I didn't have that rack, which was in the truck.
In the truck for the touring.
Yeah, for the touring.
And the truck.
So I didn't have the chance to do this at home. So I had to do diary before the show, and it was perfectly working.
Yeah.
And since then, I'm always using this for flight shows and everything else.
Yeah. And you use then, of course, the amp1 with the MIDI 1 adapter, and then combine this with your MIDI switcher.
Exactly.
And if the amp1 works with the MIDI learn function, so if your MIDI system is more or less clean, the amp1 is the easy
no big
peasy.
thing.
It's an easy piece. We do have some issues, especially with Helix or H-Effects users, but this is all down to the line 6 H-Effects, not because it's a bad unit, no, but there's something like, what is it called, MIDI tempo. So a preset sends out MIDI commands in the preset constantly, bang, 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 and this information congests the MIDI channel, and that's causing some troubles. But if you switch that off, everything is fine.
Okay.
So the amp1 is usually, if you have a MIDI problem, it's not the amp1. Trust me. I do some customer service here, and as you know, also on Facebook and stuff, and so I see what's going on and what the problems are out there. And it's always the same. I talk to the guys, I give them advice, and then sometimes it takes 3 days, and the result is 99%. It's the other unit. It's not the amp one, because the amp one is so simple when it comes to MIDI. It simply memorizes incoming program change numbers to combine it with the settings of the amp, or you have 3 control change numbers for gain, master volume, and power soak, and that's it. So it's that simple.
Yeah, we have to say, the first time I used this, it was the show in Moscow, and it was also the show that was with Mijur as a special guest. So we had to also rehearse with him before the show and everything. I was thinking, like, oh my God, I have to program the whole thing for this show in like 20 minutes. But it was working.
Nice.
It's perfectly working.
Nice. So we have a guy from Argentina writing here, Thomas Solari.
Okay.
Yeah, greetings from Argentina. I play in the Pink Floyd tribute band too. Great data here. Okay, cool. Okay, wow, this is a lot of things. The MGs. Hello, Thomas. Great demos, but I would like to know which amp one do you make that would be the
Tex-Mex pickups, also good choice for, let's say, a fat single coil sound. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay. I have to answer this one question here. Chasing tone. Hello, Thomas.
I'm
great
still
demos.
chasing.
Yeah, this was my last episode, by the way. But I would like to know which amp one do you make that would be the best for classic 80s Whitesnake Dokken. I would say if you play a humbucker guitar, get the black one, get an Iridium. If you are more into the early 80s, 70s, get a Mercury. So what you are asking for is kind of in between, but it's like both can do it. My feeling is get an Iridium.
I would say this classic, let's say, Dokken, when he's talking about Whitesnake and Dokken, I think he means the later Whitesnake things.
Yeah.
So I think he's also pretty well, what is also pretty well working is the Mercury with the classic mode with lots of gain.
Sure.
This is working. I
Absolutely.
think this is a typical, let's say, pushed Marshall sound.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this is hard to answer. Is it the Mercury or is it the Iridium? It's funny. When I brought out the Iridium, I brought out the Iridium as the metal amp to make it totally different from the silver one. You know, it's like, oh, this is a totally different amp. And yes, it is a totally different amp, but over the time, people discover, that's also including myself, that the Iridium is also a cool amp when it comes to like any sound. It's just,
absolutely.
It comes from a different angle. It's more like, okay, this is like, I want it not as, well, it's a bit cleaner in a way. It's a bit more defined in a way.
When it was, let's say, kind of new, you sent me one to check it out, and I was really impressed about the vintage channel.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect it this way. That how to say that tight but bold and powerful. Wow. Really cool. Also, the classic channel is still, it's very close to this one, but still a little more modern.
Yeah.
In a way.
By the way, guys, next week I have a guest which is, that's again not true, but it's usually playing an Iridium because it's a metal player. But since next week is episode number 67, we made a surprise. So the metal guy has to play some flower power music with me.
Okay, yeah.
And I will play some metal with him.
With the Mark 1.
Yeah, this will be fun. Anyway, so next week
112 open back.
Yeah. Here, a question to you from Fabio 4. Ollie, do you still play your Paul Reed Smith guitars?
Yeah, I got one Paul Reed Smith guitar in 2006. It was still the time where Peter Wolf was involved in PRS, and I met Paul Reed Smith on a fair in Frankfurt and blah blah blah.
And Peter Wolf is now Next Guitars.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do amazing guitars, fucking great guitars.
And I know Peter Wolf from back in the days when he was in Koblenz.
I with my first band, I think I was 14 or 15, I bought a mixing desk. It was this
sound.
typical Metec 1602.
Yeah.
Yeah, this beige. I bought it in his shop at Pro Sound.
See, and this is
Really
how,
funny. I was 14.
This is how this industry works. It's the people we bump into each other every now and then again. Sometimes 10 years later, and sometimes 20 years later, and sometimes next year. And it's such a small industry, but it's kind of a nice thing because we hear stories about other people, and this guy is doing this, and now he has a big career, and then 10 years later the big career is over, and he is doing that, and it's cool. And then he heard a story about Peter, for example. I think we were on a flight to whatever, Namsho or Asia or whatever, and then we really had time to talk. Very interesting talks, because I was a customer in his shop when I was a teenager, and stuff like that, and it's like, oh yeah, he was checking me out all the time, and same here, you know. Cool.
Yeah, and to get back to that question, I still have that guitar. It's kind of it's as far as I know, it's the first CE 22 they did with the blade switch.
Yeah.
Because I was saying I like these guitars. I like the bolt-on necks to have this, let's say, in-between sound of a Les Paul and Strat. And it was great working for me, except this switch, which was not working for me. And then they made this first one with the blade switch. And it's a great guitar, still have it, and I rarely use it, unfortunately. Sometimes in the studio, but it's a great guitar. Yeah.
Here's another question from whatever Nieman, Mark Nieman. Is it possible to plug in two cabinets, separate speaker cabinets, in both outputs of the amp1? It is, but mind, there is an 8 ohm output and there's a 16 ohm output. If you use both outputs at the same time, the total impedance of both outputs should be 8 ohms, which means if you have two old school Marshall 16 ohm cabinets,
it doesn't work right.
It works right.
Yeah?
Two 16 ohm onto these outputs, fine.
To have in combination again, 8, okay, I get it.
They both plugged in here.
They
end up being 8 internally because they're kind of bridged for that function. And then the amp switches to 8 ohms and it's perfect. But
so it's like parallel.
Yeah, it's like parallel and it matches.
Okay.
But if you would have two 8 ohm cabinets, the impedance would be 4 ohms, and that's too low for the amp1. For that, you should have another way of combining the cabinet serial and then plug into the 16 ohm output of the amp1. But your question was, can I use both output sockets here? You could if you have two 16 ohm output, two 16 ohm cabinets, which is old school Marshall cabinets.
Oh, that's an info I just read.
Please.
Dusty Hill died. He just passed
really?
away. Oh yeah. Who?
Oh yeah.
They're all dying.
Oh, that's ZZ Top. ZZ. Then it's only Billy Gibbons left, and the drummer, of course.
And the drummer.
But hey, a power trio without such a character is a hard one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We have to check out what's going on there. Man, okay, another big loss. What is this? Die meisten spielen. Okay. Somebody says too many people play with too much gain. If he thinks of Gilmour, well,
he doesn't play with that much gain.
Yeah. The thing about Gilmour is he can play from like no gain with tons of compression to like anything. But the typical amateur, so to speak, mistake is you have too much gain on everything because it makes you feel good, but it makes you sound shit. And
it's maybe working in the living room at a low level, which makes you feel good. You have lots of compression, but it doesn't work on stage on a certain level. It doesn't work.
The pro players usually know how to use less gain and have more tone,
Yeah, yeah.
And this is going back from the old school days up until to now. So
The only thing that, how to say, I learned, because I play a lot with in-ears,
Yeah.
that when you play with in-ears, for some solo sounds, it's better to add a little more gain than normally when you play with the cabinet.
speaking it, yeah.
Yeah, to have that extra sustain, just a little bit to
Yeah.
have that feeling. But
In-ears-
not that much.
Yeah, yeah. In-ears is a different word. I'm happy that I'm not doing it, but you are probably happy because as a singer,
Yeah,
It's heaven.
I love it. I love
yeah.
it.
I mean, if I play just as a guitar player and like last weekend with your loud drummer or with the drummer that plays with you,
Yeah.
my singer kind of had no chance anymore at the end because
yeah.
I went up to the drummer's level and then it's like, however.
Yeah, the voice will be gone the next day. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay.
old classic, let's
Rock
say,
and roll mistake.
disease. Yeah.
Yeah, disease. Have
Sing-
a couple
singer's
of beers
disease.
and a few cigarettes, and you're definitely sure that your voice sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he used
Gilmour
Demacia FS1. Yeah, I think that's
On
right.
this black strat.
Then he used SSL1.
Yeah, SSL1 is
Typical Seymour Duncan
pickup.
classic pickup. I also have them in one FGN strat. It's
Yeah.
working.
I used to have some of these too, even in this strat, because I was experimenting back in the days. I put in everything. I had a black pickguard on this guitar. I have some weird shots with this guitar. And I had an SSL1 in this guitar too. So I have a good reference point always because it's always the same guitar. The point is, they're great pickups. They are not as, maybe not as spanky. If I find a word for that. But they have a woody tone and they have
They are
character.
mild somehow.
Yeah, a bit mild.
So to get that, let's say, newer Pink Floyd sound with a normal single coil, I guess these Seymour Duncans are not the worst choice.
Yeah. I don't get this was the chief doctor Emperor Buck says
Slash and
I
I
are the only virtuosos in the world. Well, that's what Bonamasso gets. I think, I like it. If I take it from that angle, I kind of like that comment. But on the other hand, it's like, watch out, guys. I mean, there are so many great virtuosos out there. Don't mess with them, and you are the loser. So watch out. Okay, Goldfinger. Eigene Cover Metal, welche Seitenlage spielt auf euren Gitarren?
Okay.
Seitenlage, which is the string height of a guitar. Medium, I would say.
Yeah, it depends on my mood. It depends on the guitar and the mood. I have some guitars that are somehow working better with a higher
Yeah, but it's
level of strings. This one is pretty low,
Yeah.
but not too low.
Yeah.
Not as low as on your
on my Gold Top.
Gold Top.
Yeah.
This is really low, but on some guitars I also have it with a very low string setting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also have some guitars that are working better with some higher strings.
See, that's the point. And I also do the same thing depending on the sound I want to hear.
Yeah.
Some guitars, they simply sound better with a lower string setting because then you have more overtones from the clack.
Yeah.
And if I miss kind of that overtone thing from the guitar, I have the strings lower. And if I have a guitar that is kind of very bright by itself,
Turn them up.
I get them higher and I have more tone.
Yeah.
And but if you have like a mild guitar and high strings, you get a dull guitar.
Yeah. No.
By the way,
This is definitely a great guitar.
yeah, but this is a song. This is David Gilmour too. I don't know which song it was, but this is high gain. So David Gilmour also plays high gain.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
I mean, in the end, when you look at the song Time, the solo, This is, I mean, it's big muff, but it's high gain.
Yeah,
It's high gain.
absolutely. So, you know, don't be too religious about stuff.
No.
Because you can be proven wrong. And of course, it's always a great inspiration to go back to the original tones and stuff that has been used. But I'm sure that even guys like Gilmour, they are pretty open. If they get a new pedal and if they like it, they don't care about the brand and they don't care about. You cannot put the settings like that. This is not normal. You are not normal, Mr. Gilmour.
And as far as I know, David Gilmour never had a deal with any company. No amplifiers, no guitars, no nothing.
Well, Fender did his signature guitar, but no.
Yeah.
deal.
Because it's David Gilmour, so you can ask for a signature guitar and we'll get it from any company.
Yeah. Can you do a Gilmour signature guitar?
Quite a bit of gain on Young Lust. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Young Lust is. It's lots of gain.
Yeah, cool. Why not? So from no gain to high gain, and everything in between. Okay, last question here, Thomas. I don't want to bug you, but is MX coming out in 2021? Let's put it NEM.
I say yes. You
I
say no.
Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
It's coming out at the beginning of 22.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. We use the NEM show because the COVID thing kills everything. So it makes no sense to rush or. Okay. We have.
Let's maybe get to
the
finish.
Schinderhit.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the point.
The Schinderhannes thing.
We finish off with let's finish off the Pink Floyd song thing, and then we talk about Schinderhütte.
Okay.
So what about the Comfortably Numb?
Oh yeah. This is one of the most iconic songs of the newer Pink Floyd stuff. Let's say newer. It was 1980. Yeah, it's not new. But this is it's a great song. It's an amazing solo. It has the whole song has an amazing vibe, and
You know,
it's something special.
Yeah, I go back for the Strat. I don't know why, because for some reason my Les Paul does humming.
This, for example, is a song that I play
Yeah,
live on a Les Paul.
cool. So
I play it on a Les Paul.
that's the reason why I have to play the Strat now. Yeah, Olli Hartmann and echoes on stage.
Yeah.
Quite a nice and impressive light show, I have to say.
Yeah, we did a little more for this video, of course, as we normally do. But we also have we have club shows in bigger clubs. We have bigger venues also where we have this XL shows and also have this XXL shows we do there. And yeah. It's not like the original, but we're getting close.
Oh yeah,
we're getting close.
Okay, nice. Just to sum it up a little bit about the Gilmour tones, we could talk a lot more and we could go even more into detail.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest thing is the guy has taste, and whatever comes in his hand, he discovered something for himself. And that's the biggest thing, that he makes that personal discovery his own. And that's creating own tones, iconic tones, and that's something very impressive. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
And David Gilmour is a master in doing that, and he succeeded in kind of installing 5 to 10 iconic guitar tones.
Absolutely.
And we all talk about it, and and the guy deserves it because
when it comes to guitar players, when people are asked, or guitar players are asked, who are the best guitar players, he's not mentioned that often. He's somehow underrated because he's not a very very technical player.
He's not that guy, but
he's not that wow player. Yeah, but it's the same when it comes to Jeff Beck. The best things he played was slow, easy melodies, but with a great tone.
Yeah. Okay, one more question, Olli. What pick are you using?
Now I'm using these Ibanez Steve Vai picks. I'm using them since many years.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm used to them. There are many picks on the market that are working, but I'm taking care that they are not too round on the tip, so it works better for me, and that they are stiff but not too stiff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a question about the FGN guitars. Does the FGN use the
circle fretting?
frets?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
What is the circle fretting?
I'd explain that. The frets are not straight.
Yeah.
So when I overdo it, they are more like this. They're angled a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in a circle. Yeah. So they want to provide that each string, because the size of the strings here, when it comes to here, is different. So they want to compensate that you always have a 90-degree angle. Of course, when you bend strings, it's
bullshit. But
that is bullshit. But it creates a little better intonation.
Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Cool. So now we are on the nerdy side of guitars.
Oh yes.
And that's a good topic to come to the nerdiness that we both discovered, and finally you came up with the idea, let's do this all the way. My story with Mr. Matthias Schindelhütte goes back to this Les Paul that used to be I don't know what color, I would call it some kind of yellowish shitty something, and I always wanted to have a gold top, and he did such a great job on this beautiful gold top with all the crackles, and so he did just the paint job on this guitar, and it made me totally
did a great job on this one.
Yeah, made me totally happy. So this was my one project with him, but you have many more. And when we talked like a year ago, maybe, or whenever this was, you brought up, let's talk about the paint job, the finish of guitars, how much this affects the tone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all know pickups changing tone, strings changing, hardware, even the pots and the values, 250K, 500K.
Yeah, I mean, it all does something.
Yeah. But what is the magic about the finish? I mean, in your words.
I'd say, as you said, when you start to modify guitars, what we all did when we had our first guitars, and I'd say this typical modification to use other pickups goes maybe back to the 70s and 80s, where you got good guitars, at a certain point, but maybe they were feedbacking or whatever, so you changed the pickups, or you wanted to have more gain, whatever. So Seymour Duncan came up with these high gain passive pickups as the distortion and many other things. So then the next thing you can do is to change the whole hardware, which makes lot of things to the sound. And also like nerdy stuff, to use long studs instead of short studs, to have them more, to have
wood.
more wood and
connection.
more resonation, more connection to the wood. But the most important thing for me, because during this Corona year, I was nerding around a lot in my practice room and changing pots and resistors and whatever. And I always found out that the best guitars that I have that were resonating the best and had the fastest attack and everything, the best tone, they had a very thin finish and a nitro finish. Not to say that because I use many FGN guitars that have acrylic finish. When it's not too thick, it's perfectly working. It's good guitars. But if you want to have this, I don't know, like 5 to 10% more of the whole wood resonating and how a guitar reacts, what you can't change with just hardware pickups, then it comes to the finish.
And I do agree, because I go back with Peter Wolf. And this is when I bought my shittiest Strat ever, which has such a thick
polyester finish, like plastic.
Plastic covered. You know, the guitar was dead. And this is, and then I discovered that anything less thick was helpful. And then, of course, nitrocellulose lacquer is still the winner.
Yeah, it's a very hard finish. That's why it crackles. But you can put it on the guitar very thin. It's just very thin layers. So most guitar builders don't lacquer them like one time. They do it like 4 or 5 times and then polish again. And you can do it very thin, and it doesn't affect the resonation of the guitar. Especially when it's crackled. It's a funny thing. It's even better for the guitar because it has less tension. Here
is our conversation that we had with Matthias Schindehütte, the guy that we both used for our Les Paul modification, and especially on the paint shop. The thing is, this was recorded a couple of months ago, but it's still the same value today. And it's so great to see that the experience we all have, even though I know Matthias just a little bit, but you spend probably more time. And, you know, me being on my planet, you being on yours, and he on his, and blah, blah, blah. And we have common ground where we both all agree, or we all three agree upon. And this is what you can see in this conversation. So, very, very interesting talk with one of the guys that really has seen many great old vintage instruments, as we also did as players, but he is also a great luthier that analyzes what's going on the woods, what's going on.
And you see repairing lots of these old guitars.
So he's a nice source of knowledge.
Vintage knowledge.
Vintage knowledge base. So if you have anything like that, he's a good guy to talk to, and he has seen it. So check out our interview with Matthias Schindehütte in Bornheim, Frankfurt. Is it
Yes,
Bornheim?
that's right. Yeah.
Bornheim.
Bonham. I come from that area, so it's Bonham.
Bonham.
Panama.
Who the fuck is John Bonham if you know Frankfurt Bornheim? Okay, take it easy, guys, and see you soon. Here's the interview. Yeah, hello. This is a special day. We are here in Frankfurt Bornheim together with Oliver Hartmann at Matthias Schindehütte's workshop. And he is a big expert when it comes to guitars, to finishes, to all the details when it comes to lacquer. And Ollie discovered a thing that is so important for him, that the way the paint job is done is so important for the sound.
Absolutely.
By the way, this is the guitar that Matthias did for myself, my beloved gold top, which is now a real gold top. And I'm just look at this. What a fantastic look. The crackle finish. I'm so happy about his work. But Ollie, let us know about your topic, the sound.
How can I explain this? I mean, for years I've been working on guitars to modify them with the first thing you do is changing pickups maybe, and then I started with hardware, and I used this Corona year now to make more experiments and to really go into details as the thumb wheels, the saddles of a bridge, and many other things, all these materials and how they affect the sound. But in the end, I also found out that, and I don't think it's rocket science, that the finish of a guitar, the lacquer, makes a big difference, especially how thick it's done.
First, the question maybe, what kind of lacquer do you prefer?
I prefer nitrocellulose lacquer for my guitars, for my paint jobs, for my restoration jobs. The lacquer from the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah. For you, what is the main benefits of this lacquer? Why do you like that nitrocellulose?
You can paint very thin.
Okay.
You can do beautiful aging.
Yeah.
And you have the wood is not like on modern guitars between two glasses, and it
covered.
It's covered and pressed.
Yeah.
So it can't be
resonating and being open.
It can't be resonating, and it's not open. It's closed.
Yeah.
Sometimes like that.
Yeah. So we want guitars that sound alive. I mean, this is what we all of the three of us like, and So you already have done a little experiment together, you guys.
Yeah, the first thing or the first moment where I really found out what differences makes was when I got a guitar of FGN that has been refinished by another guitar builder, by Yoshi Luck, who really did a very thin matte finish, and I had two of these guitars, and I thought like, wow, they resonate much more.
And you listened to that guitar before, so you had the A/B comparison.
Yes, I had to have the comparison to many other guitars that I had from FGN. Not to say that these other guitars sound bad, not at all. They do great craftsmanship, do very nice finishes, but there was still a difference.
Yeah.
And of course, it's also a matter of the price in the end. If you pay like a normal finished lacquered guitar, where you maybe pay for a top model of FGN, you maybe pay 800 euros, or when it comes to a guitar that maybe then costs like 700, 600, 800 euros more if you do it in a nitro finish. Yeah. But it makes a difference how the finish is done. And then I started with this project here, which was an LS20, the mid model of this company. And Matthias Schinderhütte, he took off all the finish and the lacquer, and did a very nice refinishing job on this guitar. And I really found out that it sounded, it didn't only resonate more, it also opened up frequencies that the guitar didn't have before, like lower mids that weren't there before in this way, and also a different kind of high frequencies. It was really interesting, and I already liked the guitar a lot before, but it was still a different world after it had been refinished.
There's a little thing about crackles, the aging. You told me. I mean, I had the guess that it makes a difference if a guitar is like relict or if it's like a glossy paint job. So I always tend to love guitars that have crackles more for the feel and the sound. Do you have an explanation for that?
I think when the lacquer cracks, the tension goes out.
Of the surface of the lacquer.
Exactly.
So this is like no tension, and that is more free, vibrating,
Exactly.
Yeah.
The wood can be
more resonant.
exactly and breathing and
Yeah.
and the other thing is it looks beautiful.
I totally agree.
It's a guitar from 68 or 69.
68, I think,
Yeah.
because of this. Somebody told me, but I'm not the
Yeah.
Gibson expert.
It
You know
can't.
It's
It
a
can't.
69.
It
69?
can't. Yeah.
Okay.
It can't be glossy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm famous for dirty guitars and crackled guitars. So for me, it's all fine. But so you also agree on the sound aspect of the aging process. Yeah, and I don't know. You know, all these glossy guitars, they sound beautiful. They look beautiful, and I was never totally sure about, is it my brain that goes, yeah, it's too glossy for me, that's why I don't like it. Every time I pick up a relic guitar, it makes me feel more home, and it sounds, I wouldn't say warmer, but it sounds a bit more human, alive, whatever that is. I mean,
Is it so? Yeah.
yeah,
And the thing is, the modern guitars in a mass production can't be lacquered with old
nitro,
cellulose.
yeah,
They use poly or polyester
thick
in a very thick
way.
way, and they can be lacquered very quickly and in big.
Machineries to sand it and make it
Yeah.
polishing, and then there's no danger that the kind of
You come to the surface
of the wood. Yeah.
and this is all hand sanded, and in between for spraying events you have to do in between sanding
Job.
and this is all, it's
A lot of
Yes.
work.
a lot of work and
Yeah.
handwork.
Yeah. And in the end, you can see it. I mean, yeah, I'm still excited, you know? I sometimes post beautiful pictures of this guitar on Instagram just because it looks so cool. And I love the guitar, it's the guitar, blah, blah, blah.
It's really great guitar. I had it in my hands, and I'm waiting for the day he will sell this one,
Yeah.
which he does.
Never.
Well, no. I'm so happy about it. So a few things here. Okay, how is the project between you guys going on? So we have this old or this first attempt,
Yeah.
and now you have a new guitar that we can kind of follow the process.
Yeah, that was the idea, because of course I can tell the difference of the guitar, of its sound and the feel before and after. But we took this guitar here. It's an LS30 from FGN that I'm endorsing. It's a great guitar. It's the top model of this series with a solid flame maple top, very nice one. I modified some things as the pickups, but the thing is, we want to show you what the difference in the end is when it comes to the sound. So we recorded this guitar at your home without amplifier and with amplifier, because it also makes a difference when you just take the guitar and you don't use any amplifier, you just play it pure. You sometimes already feel the difference. And yeah, this is the new project we have. So we will strip this guitar down.
I strip it down. Not you.
Not we, no. He will do it.
The expert is stripping it out. Yeah.
I will just
I
wait.
do the dirty work.
The dirty work, yeah. And yeah, we will refinish it in the same optical way as it is now, like a faded cherry burst. It's already nice looking, and we will see what the difference is.
I am very curious. I kind of marked the position where I was filming you at home, so I have to be at the same spot, and then you have to play the same shit like half a year ago. I hope you remember that, but we can watch our first clip, and then you can try to copy yourself. And
To copy myself. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. One other thing that I found out is that it also changes what I like on guitars, especially, is when they have a really fast attack. When you don't have to hit strings hard to get a good tone. Not only to have more dynamic, but to really have a fast attack. Some other guitar builder told me that you can't really measure this, so it's in a very like a small how to say, or
range. It's
very small range. But as a guitar player, as an experienced one, you can feel the difference when you play single strings, how fast the guitar reacts, and what really makes a difference for me personally, if I like a guitar or not.
Same here. I always tended to like guitars that are not lame, that have this kind of like a horse, like, you know, one of those horses that just go for it. You just say, you know, go, and the guitar or the hose does the job for you. And this is how it feels. It's like I don't have to work that hard. I can still be slow playing, but if the guitar is not lame, it's at hand. I can, my pick attack is giving me all the options. A lame guitar makes me work harder, and this makes me upset because, oh man, I have to work so hard to make my standard licks come out of the guitar. And my main guitars like that one and my 61 Strat, they are fast guitars. And even the cheap ones that I have, or the affordable ones from vintage, the one Hendrix one that I have, that's a fast one. It's not using high quality hardware, but it's a fast guitar, and fast and open. And then of course, on the next level, there are other sonic qualities, but for me, that's a good starting point. And because with the amp, I can still fill some frequency ranges if missing. Of course, in the end, I want it all. I want the fast attack, I want the rich tone, I want the full dynamics. But if it's fast and open, it makes me feel I'm connected with the instrument. And then on the next level, it makes me totally happy if the sound is killer. If not, I can fake it.
Of course, you can, on an amplifier or later in a mix, you can add or cut frequencies, but you can't change the attack, the feeling that the guitar has.
This is the interaction, and I'm very sensitive like you. And maybe some super slow players don't notice, but I mean, you play fast.
Sometimes.
And it's important to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're all curious what will happen with this guitar, because the basis of this guitar is already great. It's good resonating. It's got nice frequencies. It sounds good. It feels good. So I'm really curious how the result will change after the.
One last question to Matthias is: so you will take off this lacquer?
Yes, it's a modern lacquer. It's a mixture. The coating, the ground coating is polyurethane or polyester, and the top coating is acryl.
Acrylic.
Yeah, it's I don't know why. Normally, acrylic with cars and not on guitars, but it's a hard work to
get it off.
To get off the lacquer. Yes.
How do you do it? Do you have to sand it, or do you use some?
I use a heater.
A heater.
A heater.
Hey, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a
fan, hair dryer.
Like a hair dryer, an industrial.
Well, that's the thing that Ollie needs all the time.
Yeah. I used it a little too much. That's why.
Because polyester lacquer with hand sanding is hell.
Okay, because it sticks.
It's too hard, and
you
take hours and hours.
Okay, and what is the next step you do in the process? So you take off the lacquer?
I take off the lacquer and then fine sanding. It depends on the marks you have done from the
taking off the lacquer.
From
make it even again.
Normally from 80 to 240 grain sandpaper, and then I do nitrocellulose. Sanding sealer is the first step, and then the color, then the top coating. And normally it needs drying from 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It's necessary.
Yeah, to have it.
And then we can polish it high gloss or a little aging.
Matching or aging.
Like Ollie wants.
Yeah, okay, we have drop it and
break it.
Yeah. But okay, so you can see this is a very deep and a very intense process that takes so much time, and therefore it's not cheap to make. I mean, even if it would be in a manufacturing situation, you would still have the drying time, and of course you can speed up little things, but that process by itself takes a lot more time than the standard that is mostly used in the industry.
Yeah.
And therefore it's great to have people like you that go to the next level. And that's my point is, it is okay to pay people like you a certain amount of money, which maybe seems high for well, it's only a paint job, you know. The whole guitar, I can buy a whole guitar for that price. But there is a difference. If you want to go all the way with all the details, it requires the right components, it requires the guy that knows it, the right experience over years. I've seen very bad jobs on guitars, and I have seen a few brilliant jobs like what he is doing. And then, of course, it takes that time, and that makes the money. And that's well spent money if you actually can hear the difference. If you don't hear the difference, buy whatever, a cheapo guitar and be happy. No problem with that. But there is another level for those who really appreciate it and love that extra level. And I'm always so excited to meet people that can go that deep, that have that knowledge. Because a lot of people go, or talk about something, and then you look at the result and you think, yeah, okay, he talks about it, but he doesn't know. And I know he knows. Because I have seen many guitars that you have treated, whatever, refinished or did some work on. And I can tell by what you've done.
Yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah.
I guitars 40 years ago.
Yeah.
With old guitars, with new guitars,
Yeah.
and every guitar you have in your hand, it's a new experience, and you're a little bit.
Every guitar is a new challenge.
Exactly.
And every challenge, if you have the right mindset, brings you to the next level.
Yeah.
Because you learn from this problem, and then, you know, next level, and it never ends, I guess.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Ends, but it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool.
What I wanted to say is when it comes to modifying guitars, maybe people say that it's a very high cost fine tuning to refinish a guitar and a long during job. But on the other hand, if you think about if you maybe buy other pickups, you can easily spend like 350, 400 euros for a new pair of pickups.
Yeah.
You can pay 100, 150 euros for just another stop tail piece. Yeah.
Or like me, I
All the
paid.
boutique stuff, huh?
Yeah.
With studs and
This is an
pickups
original
and,
60s. I think this is about 300. Yeah.
yeah.
And when we changed that, there was the original sound. Any other would sound great, but not like the real old authentic.
Yeah.
This was, and so I took this extra money and put it in just this lousy one, you know. But it makes the difference, and it's worth it because now I have a Les Paul that I'm happy with, and that's what I don't need 10 guitars, 10 Les Pauls. I only have 2, you know, and that's all I need.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I think we can watch the results later on when the process has been done. Yeah, thank you so much again, Matthias.
See you in 3 or 4 weeks again.
Yeah, and then
to see what happens.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.